Alright, so this van is a 6.5 turbo diesel, and it runs great, but I'll show you what it does. Try not to drive it too much because I'm about to take it apart and work on the exhaust, but I bought a Turbo Master for it, and I'm gonna just bypass the vacuum system. I was really tempted to keep it stock and just get it going, but so when you get on it, if that makes sense. Sometimes it does it a lot quicker than that, and in this case I can't get on it too much. But basically, if you go full throttle, it'll go to like 13 pounds, which is darn near dangerous for these. Like, you don't really want to go more than 10. And driving around town, it really hasn't bothered me. So for the last year, I haven't cared enough. But going over like a mountain pass is where it becomes really obvious, because when you're going up the pass, either it overboosts and you're able to go up the pass, or boost shuts off and you're limited to like quarter throttle and 55, because if you go any more than that, or half throttle, whatever, if you go any more than that, it'll downshift, overboost again, which, you know, it'll only stay there for a couple seconds and then it'll realize it's overboosting and shut the boost off. So it hasn't broken or anything, but the last thing I want to do is blow a head gasket going up some mountain pass because I was impatient. So I end up just basically crawling up the pass behind the semi-trucks. And when I can trick it into hovering around 5 to 8 pounds, it does fine. So anyway, I'm gonna be pulling all this out and putting the Turbo Master in. So if you haven't worked on one of these vans before, this is the doghouse where the engine is, and on the van specifically, the turbo is in the back of the motor. So the first thing we want to do is pull this seat out. Sounds kind of ridiculous, but it is absolutely the quickest, easiest way to deal with this. So we're gonna pull this seat out, pull the doghouse off, and then everything's right there. Okay, got a little distracted. Someone came over. It's just these 4 bolts. Super easy. I'm pretty sure they're metric, but I just grabbed a 3/4. So it's probably like either an 11/16 or a 17, or I don't know what. But anyway, 4 bolts, pulls the seat out. Then you have all this room, because otherwise all this stuff hits the seats and you can't get it out anyway. And then we're gonna have these 10s, I believe. Pull these off too, but there's 2 bolts up there, but you're gonna have the connectors for those, so don't just yank the thing off. Make sure you get those disconnected so that you don't lose your cigarette lighter plugs. If I'm gonna suffer through this, you're gonna suffer through this. Okay. So once you get the plastic, I don't know what you call this, plastic console full of holders, the holder console, we'll call it. Once you get this off, which, I can't remember, is there anything else? That one's off. I think that should be it. Yep. So once you start pulling this off, take a pause, make sure you get this connector disconnected, which is going to be hard to do with one hand. There you go. Okay, now this is all separate, and you are down to the vent and actual doghouse itself. This just pulls off. And then you got these, which are like strapped in, and you're done. And this pulls off So it's a bit of a chore to get in here. You gotta take all this stuff off. But it's not the end of the world. And then once you do it, everything's accessible. So on the vans, unlike the trucks, on the vans, the turbo is literally right here. And this is your wastegate and your vacuum ports. Now, it's possible on this van, I don't actually know for sure which thing is wrong. It could be a vacuum line issue. But as you can see, it's kind of difficult to get to all of that stuff. And when you're under the van looking at the vacuum pump, it's hard to get to that stuff. And then even if I were to fix a line that's broken, for all I know, the next day the vacuum pump's gonna go, and it's more expensive than the Turbo Master. So I just decided I was just gonna go for the Turbo Master. Do it all in one shot, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. So we gotta take this heat shield off. So we've got a couple 13s or 1/2 inch. Get this guy off. Very surprisingly, these are coming off no problem, despite how rusty they look. So we got the top ones. Got that guy we gotta take off. And this one down there. And that's probably a 13. Can never keep track of this late model American stuff, because it's like technically I think metric, but like the metric that nobody but the US uses, like 11s and 13s, all the odd numbers. Okay, and then get that back off before it gets locked in, now that it's super loose. And of course there's a sharp ass heat shield just there in the way. It's really fun getting this one back on. Okay, this should come off now. Gotta slide it back off of this stud. Then it should lift. There we are. Here's our wastegate. Okay, so we pull this line off, and then we have a little ball to plug it with. And I'm going to do that now, so I don't forget to do it later. I'm going to really get it in there so it doesn't fall out. Okay, so that should be all I need to do with that. I'm going to leave the vacuum pump and everything all in place. See if that works, because I think that stuff runs your climate control stuff as well. I'm going to use this pick to pull this little clip off. And I have this magnet at the ready to catch it, because I will undoubtedly drop it in the process of trying to get the clip off. That's just how I am. I can't see the clip very well, which makes it hard to know how it's supposed to come off. Oh, yeah. It's off the other way. This magnet's not helping because it's just getting stuck to my tool. Yep, no idea where that went. Technically I don't need it anymore, but still. I like to be in the habit of not losing things. Anyway, so I gotta unbolt that, but then that should slide out, I think. Unless, is it two different clips? Feels like there's still, oh. Okay, oh. Yeah, I think the clip might have rusted and been in multiple pieces. Anyway, yeah, there we go. All right, I'm gonna try to get into there with those bits. Let's take a stab and guess it's a 13. Probably gonna need to use the open end. Really amazed at how well these are coming off once you break them loose. Generally, my experience with really rusty manifolds is that the hardware is equally rusted to them. And that one is extra hard to get to. Alright, it was a 15. Wasn't that hard to break loose, and now it's spinning super easily also. And I did move my van over to the driveway so that if I lose something, I can find it easier than in the dirt. Highly recommend. Underrated strategy. So like that's not spinning because it's hitting this clamp. And you don't really want to take 10 more things apart just to get this bolt the rest of the way out. I'm gonna see if I can just force it along. If this bolt was just a little shorter, this wouldn't even be an issue. And it doesn't need to be this big for what it's doing. Yeah, it's like, it's out, it just can't really slide forward. Well, maybe what I can do is if I can get this other one, if being the key word there, if I can get this other one, then maybe I can move the whole bracket. I don't know if that worked at all. Well, to make my life a little easier, I am going to pull the canister off. T20. Who designs this stuff? Like, all they had to do was clock these different, and nothing would be in the way. Oh, well, I guess I should have known that they would make it to where you can't actually take that off. Okay, so that kind of helped, kind of didn't make a difference. For what it's worth, this thing is still good. Definitely holds a vacuum. I tested it, all that good stuff. That was not the problem. The part is still good, just not needed. And this bracket is what's in our way of getting to that bolt, so I think I will just take that bracket off. I'm just a little worried. I don't know these cylinder heads very well. That very well might be a coolant port jacket thing, which I really don't want to mess with. Because I'm not going to be able to reseal it with all this other stuff in my way. Oh, yep, exactly what it is. Okay, so let's put that back on and not mess with it. How did I know? Okay, so that's a coolant port. So if I pull that off, it's gonna dump coolant forever, and I still need to reseal it before I can keep going with all this. I really don't want to pull this whole piece off just for that one bolt, 2 bolts, I guess. Let's see what we can do about it. This one's so close. How is it that big of a bind? So I've put that one, threaded it back in. I'm going to try to loosen this clamp. But just one of those things that makes me really hate American vehicles. It's an 11, which would be fine if everything was an 11, but I've already used a 10 on other parts of this thing, and now this part is an 11. That's the kind of shit that drives me crazy. So, to do this job, instead of every single thing being a 13, let's say, I've used a 10, 11, 13, 15. I'm sure I'll find a 14 in here somewhere. I don't know, it just seems really unnecessary, the amount of variety of socket sizes they choose to go with. In an annoying spot. Makes this all way harder than it needed to be. Like, I don't want to pull this whole manifold off, just... It can't, because I can't. It's bolted to the block for some stupid reason. I know one thing I can do that I probably shouldn't do, and I might do. The thing is, I don't have like a service manual for this, so I don't know what the actual intended procedure is for this thing. And I almost don't care. I don't think I want to give it that dignity of it telling me what it had in mind for all this garbage. Because it's so unnecessarily done. Because yeah, when I try to take this nut off, it just runs into the clamp that they put right there. And the clamp seems like it has an easy access, like a design, but also this is in the way of it. So it's not that great. Not the end of the world, just not that great. And then that, before it comes out of the block, hits this. But that's so long, like longer than it needs to be. So I might just cut it. And honestly, I don't even think I'm going to put it back. In fact, I know I'm not going to put it back because this doesn't even have that much of it. This is what we resorted to, which I think is pretty funny. Using needle nose to grab onto the threads and twist this because nothing else will get in there properly. And now I think this isn't grabbing enough either. I got it off. I had to kind of grab, twist, and pull and all these things. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This bolt, which does nothing other than be a third bolt to hold this plate in place, is like a 1/4 inch too long to just come off like that. Similarly, this extra bolt, which I would argue is not even necessary, you can just have 2 bolts, whichever 2 you want, but just 2, is like a 1/4 inch too close to everything to be able to put a tool on it without pulling all of this off of the motor. It's like everything was designed for assembly with complete disregard for whoever might service something. Okay, I'm out of time. My evening plans are arriving because it's taking a lot longer than it really should have. So what I'm going to do for now is not use the provided bracket that does technically have a different angle, a little bit of a different angle, I think, from... It's pretty close. So I'm just gonna try using all of the stuff with this provided bracket. Now, something I'm noticing is this is beveled, but it seems to be wrong. The picture shows it like this, but that doesn't seem like it's correct. It seems like it should be sitting there like that. So I'm just gonna, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's supposed to go yet, and I'll worry about that later because I gotta be done. So this is how I have it set. I don't like it at all. I think I'm actually gonna return this. I don't know if I somehow ordered the wrong one, even though it claims that I have the right one, or what. But at this point, looking at all of this, I think I'm just gonna make it myself because this is just wrong. Like, I think it'll work, but it's bad. So anyway, we're done for today. Alright, so this is gonna be noisy because we gotta run with the dog cover off. Doghouse, whatever. I gotta run to the store for my tonight plans and get some stuff, so I'm just gonna do it in this and see how it's operating. Tighter or looser, because we're making like 3 pounds. Granted, I'm not flooring it, but we go looser. So maybe we go tighter. Not sure which way is which yet. So I think tighter is, the tighter spring is more pressure. We're almost out of threads though. We might actually have to adjust the bolt. And if we need to, we might have to change the location, the bolt location, but it's gonna go as tight as it'll let me. Yeah, that's about where we want it. I wouldn't mind a little more, but that's at least safe where I can go full throttle and I'm not going to blow the head gaskets immediately. And I'm really, really curious how this is going to affect my economy, because I've already been getting okay economy, like worst case scenario, heavy traffic on a long Yeah, that's actually about where we want it right there. It doesn't even make sense. Yesterday it was like thunderstorms and the loudest rain all day. Now it's just like a perfect day. Whatever. So technically I already did take this on a test drive, but I want to take it on another one and just make sure I'm happy with where the boost is set at before I button all this back up. So that's what we're gonna do. Full throttle, 5 pounds, noticeably slower than when it jumps up to like 12 pounds before. I'm gonna go a little tighter. concerned with it being safe, and that seems pretty safe. Alright, well, I didn't bother filming the reassembly because it's just the reverse of what I already showed, but not too bad. Reassembly is actually sometimes easier than disassembly on these ones. Don't know why that is. Yeah, that's the half of a TurboMaster install. I'm just gonna leave it in. It's working, so that's, you know, I bought it to work, so it's working. Never mind the fact that I had to make it work, but whatever.